US President Donald Trump has said that he hopes to avoid military strikes on Iran's nuclear program. And this is contrary to the position long taken by ally Israel. Trump said the Iranian nuclear issue could be worked out without having to worry about it. Asked if he would support military action against Iranian nuclear facilities, Trump told reporters that it would be really nice if it could be worked out without having to go that further step. He added that he will speak to very high-level people about the issue, but not specify who they would be. Further, on the diplomatic prospects with Iran, Trump said that he hopes that Iran will make a deal, but it's okay even if they don't. Remember, during his first term, Trump had withdrawn from a nuclear deal negotiated under former President Barack Obama. He had instead imposed sweeping sanctions, winning praise from Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, who calls Tehran's government an existential threat. Trump has in the past vowed maximum pressure on Iran. In 2020, he had also ordered the strike that killed senior Iranian General Qasem Soleimani in Baghdad. But since winning his second presidency, Trump has backed off on calls for wider military action. He has, in fact, distanced himself from advisors who choose a hawkish course on Iran. Now, after his election victory, reports claimed that his confidant Elon Musk met a senior Iranian official to seek to diffuse tensions. Now, as Israel mulls the option of military action against Iran, it will be eyeing whether or not this potential move would be backed by Washington. We are now joined by Collins Chong Yukit, political analyst, foreign affairs and security strategist, University of Malaya. Welcome to the show. Good to have you with us. Now, Collins, there's so much that I want to speak to you about. I will try and pack in as much as I can in the limited time that we have on the show here. So I request you to do the same. Now, we are finally seeing a clearer path towards whatever Donald Trump had said that he would do during his campaign. It's a quintessentially Trumpian transactional carrot and stick approach. He says that I will come to the issue of China, Iran and Ukraine and Russia war in just a bit. But what I want to understand from you is, does this approach really work in democracy? Wherein you do this, I will do this. And if you don't do this, I'm going to do this. And so openly speaking about it.
Right, because the systemic conventional approach of the past, being led by these democratic, candidates or presidents of the past, and they have been confined to these structural limitations of being seen as politically correct. And this is one of the areas where Trump has been very strong in, getting to the core of the tenets, core of the matters that are critical to the nation. And we have seen how his victory has, proven that, the critical need to ensure the truth be told and that realities are being dealt with, and that all the woke policies of the far left, which are being designed to placate to certain segments of the population, are being also demolished. So we have seen this new groundswell of support in terms of how Trump is being seen as the only candidate among all others, typical politicians who have been, talking and planning, but then he is the one that is being seen as the one that is really, doing all the actions, and who is not afraid and who is bold enough to have the audacity to change the nation for the better, based on what he has termed as common sense policies. It's not only being seen as a conservative approach at the core of the matter, but also being seen as a common sense policy of ensuring that America stands to gain from all these newfound policies, and also to demolish all the previous, what he termed as stupid policies of making America weaker in the eyes of the world. And that we have seen how in his new term now, various foreign powers have been trying to respond to this new reality, and that his common sense approach of getting the best for the nation in terms of getting revenues from tariff or imposing carrot and stick approach, transactional approach, and for this last term of his, I would argue that of course he has a lot of leeways, capacities, openings to have both carrot and stick approach, and also to maintain a lot of pragmatism in his foreign policy calculations,
Right.
not only with China, not only with Russia, but also with allies in Canada, in Europe, in NATO. So, but it's in the best interest of America to be safe, to be strong, for the world to also feel the positive ripple impact, and to ensure that the other powers, especially Russia and
Right.
China and North Korea and Iran, will be kept, in check in terms of adhering to the international law, which will be, hopefully be maintained by Trump and
Sure.
his allies.
Let me point out a few sticking points for America as regards the countries that it plans to deal with. Firstly, let's begin with Iran. Trump says that he doesn't plan to militarily attack its nuclear program. And he says that China's Xi Jinping will help him in the war in Russia and Ukraine. He's also going to have a chat with Vladimir Putin and talk about ending the war there. How do you view these various approaches? How are these approaches different from the previous administration? The previous administration also avoided an attack on the nuclear arsenal of Iran's. How do you see this approach being any different?
Well, during his first term, Trump has always, consistent in his approach of, regardless of, the various arguments on his, the madman approach and the unpredictability factor of his, policies. He is being seen as very much a pro-peace leader, and there's no single major conflict that happened under his watch. And that during the Biden administration, we've seen this implosion of new conflicts in the Middle East, in Ukraine. And, I foresee that he will continue his very pragmatic approach of ensuring that there's no pressing need for this direct intervention of U.S. forces, especially in these key, flashpoints. And with regards to Iran, of course, he'll continue to renegotiate new deal of the nuclear deal. And that, of course, also he won't be seen as being too harsh on starting any direct wars. And, of course, using the influence of China and Russia in hopefully to tag Iran along. And this is where all these, possible sanctions or, carrot and stick approach with regards to Russia and China will be important for them to get along with, America's policy with regards to containing Iran as well.
Sure. Collins, very quickly, since you mentioned the approach to be rather conservative earlier on and directed towards portraying America as a superpower, I want you to talk to me a little bit about Trump's approach towards sustainability. He says that he wants to make America a manufacturing hub again. He says that he wants to increase the fossil fuel production. How is this approach really conservative in a world that believes in sustainability, in making it a greener place and greener energy sources?
Well, it's common sense for the lay people to know that because America has this vast deposit of oil and gas under their feet, and that because of this, what they call as woke policies of the far left, which have constrained America's potential and which he has to rely now on other oil, powers in Venezuela, in the Middle East, which also constrains policy. So now it's a common sense for them to drill, baby, drill, and to get the best out of their own advantage.
Right.
And of course, also for Trump, it is just a common sense policy and approach for him to get the best for America in terms of getting the tariff, in terms of revisiting, and correcting all the past mistakes of being taken advantage of by China and other powers, and also using his own resources for the good of America and getting all the foreign firms and the best talent from all over the world to invest in America and to ensure that Americans themselves get the most benefits out of that, which will also have positive impact on the world as a whole.
Thank you so much, Collins, for joining us on the program with
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Thank you.